Hey, good morning. Good morning, Crime Crunchies. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I am Courtney C., and here at Crime Crunchies, we don't just take a bite out of crime, we crunch it. And I always go crunch, crunch, crunch. You guys are my crunchies. So good morning, everybody, and happy Saturday to you. We are on day 14 of the Nancy Guthrie case, and there was a lot of movement last night. I go to bed pretty early. I think I was asleep by 9:30, and all of this happened later than that. I follow JLR Investigates, and I could see that he was posted up because they knew that SWAT was staged in the area. Nobody was giving any addresses, which is right and the right thing to do. And but Brian Enton actually ended up getting within the perimeter when the SWAT team went in on a house in Tucson, and there was a lot of excitement, like I said, and I believe they got 3 detainees, but I'm not sure that it's going anywhere today. I'm not getting so excited about it like I did the last time when they had the first detainee. I was thinking they've got their guy, but I'm not getting so excited right now because honestly, if we look at this case, we have a few things going, okay? The FBI and the Pima County Sheriff Department, I think that they've got a few different spokes on this tire. So we've got people probably looking into the notes that have been sent to TMZ. So there's one spoke. I think that they're looking into the notes that were sent to the news organizations. That's a second spoke. They've got video of the person that was hanging out on the porch of a house about 5 or 6 miles away. They've got investigation going into the suspect that was actually seen on Nancy's Nest camera. And I think that they probably are still looking at, internal suspects within just kind of the perimeter of Nancy herself, still in kind of that core. So I think that they've got a lot of things that they're looking at. And so as far as last night, them going in with the SWAT team and getting 3 detainees, I honestly have no idea how these people fall into the investigation. It could be a nothing burger. And I actually see some report that there aren't any arrests. We're going to take a look at that now. So what is it that they are doing with these people? What are they looking into them for? Is it an arrest note? Is it somebody that was seen in the camera at the house down the way? Is it the person who was on the front porch at Nancy's house? So a lot of things to look at. Again, I am not getting so excited, honestly, until they have a suspect arrested, standing in a courtroom before a judge getting arraigned. I am not going to jump on any bandwagon because it's just too early. And looking at so many different interviews of people who've been past FBI or past law enforcement, it could be that they go to point A, they get detainees, they question them, they get more information that leads them to point B, that then they get more information, and then they go to point C. So I think that this is multi-layered. And, there's, again, a very far spread when we're looking at the person who actually stood on Nancy Guthrie's porch. There's a very far spread between this guy was just doing a robbery and it went wrong to it was an actual targeted kidnapping. I think that there's a huge, amount of space in play between those two very big extremes. And we're all just guessing. Everybody is speculating. We've got a little bit of drama between the sheriff supposedly not playing nice with the FBI. So this case has definitely caught a lot of people's attention because nothing is adding up. It's very confusing. We don't know what's happening. There are no press conferences, which is fine. But then we're really spent just hanging on every single word. And I have to give Brian Enton is amazing. This guy is amazing. He has been really my number one go-to boots on the ground because he's getting in places and these sheriffs they kind of know who he is. He's very respectable and he's not dramatic. He's not, embellishing anything. Is very neutral. Uh, so they let him in the perimeter last night. So let me share my screen. I want to take a look at some things. We're going to start on CNN. Okay, let me make myself a little bit smaller. Excited to have my crunches with me today. All right, so here is the headline on CNN, and this was just as of 11:27 Eastern time this morning was updated. We have a video, more than a dozen law enforcement vehicles near Nancy Guthrie's home last night. Let's take a look at this video because, again, I went to bed early last night. I think I can skip it here pretty soon, though. While we're waiting for that, let's see. Well, we can probably skip now. All right, so that's some good information that I didn't realize that they had towed off a Range Rover. And, like I was saying a few minutes ago, we're not sure exactly how these people ended up on the radar for the FBI. And we don't know exactly what angle these people could be related to this situation. But the fact that they did take a vehicle makes me think that this could be more closely in association with somebody who physically had been with Nancy or took Nancy. So originally I was not sure if maybe they were involved with I wasn't exactly sure if they were involved with some of the and I don't want to call them ransom notes, the TMZ notes that they've gotten recently that were just demanding Bitcoin. I'm not sure if they, were involved with that. So it's hard to know. So Lone Wolf, O2QY. I'm not sure how you say that. Hi, Lone Wolf. Thank you so much. I appreciate this comment, guys. Don't forget to leave a like while you're watching. Thank you. I love that. Thank you so much. Usually I feel like I have to remind people, to do that. And thank you so much. Please do subscribe and like. It definitely helps the channel for sure. So thank you so much, Lone Wolf. I really appreciate that. So we're just not sure exactly what angle this is, but I want to scroll down a little bit more. This is CNN again. Oh, and I want to comment on this video that we just saw. I thought it was really some good intel that the senior law enforcement analyst that spoke in this video actually mentioned that because of the type of case that we're looking at right now, and the fact that this person was walking up on Nancy Guthrie's house and it looked like he had a holster, that they're doing every precaution at this point. And so while normally somebody may not have taken the entire SWAT team out to a house to get detainees, they are definitely locked and loaded. It sounds like every time they are going out, because this is definitely, a high caliber situation. So again, while in some situations they may not pull out and roll in the entire SWAT team, it sounds like they're definitely taking precautions. All right. Lone Wolf, she said, oh, don't worry about me. I'm a moderator in many channels and I'm not advertising. It's a pleasure to be here. Oh, thank you so much, Lone Wolf. Thank you for being a moderator on other channels as well. That's got to be a hard job. So let's take a look at this first paragraph on CNN, because this is where I'm confused. So law enforcement activity, an operation linked to Nancy Guthrie's disappearance Friday night ended without any arrests. A law enforcement official says more than a dozen vehicles, including those from SWAT and forensics, were seen at the location before roads reopened after about 4 hours. So again, kind of confused. So they detained 3. It sounds like they had from the house potentially a mother and a son. Again, no reports yet on that. And then there was somebody not pulled out of a vehicle, but stopped with the vehicle by a Culver's. And it sounds to me from what Brian Etten was saying that they didn't roll into the house until they had the first person at Culver's detained. And I believe that I heard as well that the road ranger, am I saying that right? The Range Rover, oh my gosh, the Range Rover that was seen being put on a flatbed. Okay, and I put a pencil in this because I'm not sure, but I believe I heard from Ashley Banfield that Range Rover had been sitting in the Culver's parking lot and was dirty. So was that Range Rover sitting in the parking lot for a while? Is that why they're searching it? How is it connected to these people? Is that something that they're testing to see if Nancy had been in it? And again, my thought is that if they have a video of the suspect walking up to Nancy Guthrie's house, going in with the backpack, which they're not releasing how he entered the home, and there's blood droplets outside the front door that they've already tested, and it is Nancy's, there's probably video of this person taking her. And if they have that video of them walking away, that could be why they think that she's still alive. And does the suspect, is he wearing a mask when he's leaving the home? Again, this is all speculation. I'm not sure exactly what they have, but I'm betting that they have a lot more information. So DNA is being tested. Investigators found DNA at Guthrie's property that doesn't belong to her or those close to her. And this was something that came out yesterday. So this is a really big deal. Even whether the glove pans out or not, the fact that they now have DNA from a person inside her home that doesn't belong to anyone in her circle, this is good news. I think that they've got labs like Orthram that does the genealogy probably on tap. And this guy's going to get found if indeed he is a perp. I'm sure even if they let the 3 people go last night, there were no arrests from this article, at least. I'm sure that they swabbed them. And again, it's really just getting to point A and then getting information and going to point B and point C. So a lot of this is probably just steps of how they're going to get their man. And I have faith that this is going to get solved. It's just we have to be patient. And the fact that there's a woman's, life hanging in the balance, everyone's just wanting to know if she's okay. And honestly, at this point, whatever condition she's in, I really just want the Guthries to get their mom back. Whether, it's a happy reunion or not, they need to have answers, because that's what, people say when they have missing loved ones. The number one thing is just not having any closure on this would be horrible. So we pretty much everyone's been covering, the backpack and the description. So let me scoop over to let's look at this. I think this was from this morning on News Nation, and I go between News Nation, Arizona sites, Fox News, CNN, not political at all, just in case anybody knows. I'm really just trying to find the information, the best information of the latest events. So let's see if we can take a peek and see if there's anything new to learn in this video. I think I'm going to stop it here because I think this might actually be old, because they haven't been at Annie's in a while. And, that's something I definitely wanted to talk about, because if this is a targeted kidnapping, okay, let's say this is organized, and for whatever reason, somebody's targeting Savannah Guthrie for whatever Olympics connection, hosting Today Show, interviewing a political or Epstein stuff, Trump, whatever it is. If somebody's targeting Savannah Guthrie, if they were looking to take somebody hostage, and let me be clear, I would not want this for anybody, but it would make more sense if this is an organized kidnapping. Why wouldn't they take a younger, like Annie? Why wouldn't they have taken Annie or even Cameron? Why take the 84-year-old mother? I mean, think about it. It doesn't make sense to me. If this is an organized, targeted kidnapping meant to target Savannah Guthrie in any way, why would they take the 84-year-old mother when they could have just as easily maybe gone and gotten Annie, who's younger? And again, I'll repeat, I don't want anyone kidnapped. I don't want anyone hurt. But if I'm doing an operation like that, it makes sense to get somebody who's not going to need as much care, hand holding, the medication, the this, the that, the not walking. So that makes me think that I'm leaning from that information. If that perspective is right, I have to think that this could go back to a robbery gone wrong. If it's somebody, 2 or 3 degrees away from just knowing the family and maybe knowing that Nancy Guthrie had valuables in the home or money, I tend to think that this might more be a robbery gone wrong. But then going along back with the mystery, if it's a robbery gone wrong, well, why take her? Why would they take her? And if they have video and she walked out the front door or had a nosebleed, they know it wasn't a lot of blood. Why would they take her? So it doesn't add up. If it's a targeted kidnapping for ransom, why not take someone younger that's easier to handle? If it's a robbery gone wrong, why take her at all? Yeah. And Lone Wolf, I agree. And thank you for agreeing with me. I mean, these are just things that I'm thinking, and we're all thinking about these things. But this is why this case is so crazy, is because it just nothing adds up. Nothing sounds logical from either of these. And then add in these weird notes. I'm not even going to call them ransom notes because it's just people asking for money. So let's look at this neighbor and then we'll switch over. Let's have a neighbor interviewed about this SWAT activity. Hopefully we don't get another ad, but we might. Oh, we got an ad. Yay. Let me get this run through. Maybe we can skip it. And while we do that, please, again, I'll just remind everybody, it is completely free to subscribe. I love the comments today. Thank you so much for commenting. I am a new channel. I am very straightforward. I try to be objective and, just taking a compilation of a lot of information and, hopefully giving it to everybody. Let me get the volume up here and I'll Okay. So that's very interesting. And yes, I can only imagine that this was a crazy situation. And again, I just want to repeat for anyone who's just joining now that there were 3 detained, but according to this morning on CNN, no arrests. So do they have the detainees still at the police station? Are they still questioning them? Apparently, there was a heavy FBI presence, and the forensics went in to the house. They took a Range Rover from the Culver's parking lot, and so they're obviously had a search warrant. They're collecting a lot of information, and I don't know if maybe they're saying no arrest because they still have the detainees. Chris McDonough, I don't know if anyone watches him on the interview room. Here's a quote from him. When someone is detained, it means they're not under arrest. The reason for that is to conduct further interviews, collect forensic evidence without having to put the individual into a custody situation. So, that makes sense. They're going to keep them there. If the detainee asks for an attorney right away, then they're probably going to get shut down. But I think the object is to get the people out of the house. It's odd so if we look at the other night when they went down to Rio Rico, and Carlos was the person, he was in a car with his wife and his children. She was door dashing and they were riding along. The police or sheriff department had actually been trailing that vehicle, and they pulled him over in a traffic stop and detained him for more questioning. But they didn't take the wife. They didn't take her in for questioning. So it makes me wonder why in this case they took a mother and a son, is what we're being told, that it was a mother and a son that were detained from the home, and then a third person from near the Culver's fast food restaurant. So, and the other night when in Rio Rico, when Carlos was taken in and detained and then let go because they didn't have enough on him, the mother-in-law was being interviewed by folks like Brian Enton and JLR and whatnot out front. They didn't detain her. So again, who are these people? We just heard the neighbor, Peter Mulk, say that they know them and that they're quiet and they stay to themselves. So I mean, it just goes to say you don't know people. You just don't know what's going on. And this could be a total nothing burger. Again, I am not putting any weight into these detainees until they're standing in a courtroom Monday morning getting arraigned in front of a judge. And at that point, then I would say, then we can take it seriously because then they've done all their due diligence. So at this point, they're gathering evidence. It could be just another stair step in the journey of finding out what has happened. But, another thing I was thinking is that if somebody took Nancy, and let's just say that Nancy is, has passed from all of this, where is she? Where is she? Where'd they put her? If they took her and she wasn't conscious, and let's say somebody carried her out, again, why take her? If whether she's awake or not, why take her? What's the purpose of taking her? And then what did you do with her? There were, quotes from Harvey Levin on TMZ that the latest note that he got, and it's not a ransom note, it's somebody saying that they want reward money in Bitcoin to give him the name, and that they're putting their freedom at risk. And so one of the things I was thinking about last night is when they say they're putting their own freedom at risk, how connected to this are they that they could end up going to jail? Or B, if this is something that's international and maybe they've taken her across the border, could this be somebody who's in America illegally and their freedom means that they're concerned that they could get kicked out or deported? I mean, so a couple thoughts about that as well. So I do think that they're getting closer. Let's take a look at Fox 10 in Phoenix. And they have a situation of the person, I think this is the person in front of the Culver. So let's just take a look and see. This is 8 minutes. We'll see if there's any good information. I'll leave it on. If not, we'll just play it for however long. Hey, really quick, are you guys able to hear this news? Are you able to hear the news story? If you could just let me know if you can hear the news story. I just got a text that a viewer can't hear the audio. If someone can just let me know if you can hear this news story playing, I need to make sure my audio is going. I don't want to play a video if you guys can't hear the audio. So if you can just let me know if you can hear the audio, that would be awesome. I'm not seeing anyone say anything. So, okay, well, let's go back to this is a Range Rover that was put on a flatbed, and they did take it in for evidence. Oh, really? Naples. Oh, okay. Naples Realtor Pilot. It can hear you, but not the video. Really? So I wonder if every time I've been playing this, the video, no one's been able to hear the video. That's a problem. Naples Realtor Okay, cool. And Bullman. I know who Bullman is. Okay, I'm gonna have to fix my sign or my sound. Okay, great. Excellent. All right. I am going to have to fix my sound. So why don't we do this? Let me go back to the old drawing board, but let me just wrap up that basically here's where we are. We had SWAT go in, detain what we think is a mother, a son, and then somebody else from a Culver's parking lot in a parking lot in a car. They detained them from a car, and then they took this Range Rover in, and I'd heard that it was dirty, but honestly, when you live in a rural area, they're dirt roads in the Tucson area that these people are living near, although the suspects that they detained last night were on a regular cement road. But if the car is dirty, it looked like Nancy Guthrie might have had a dirt road or a dirt driveway. So could this vehicle have been seen in neighbors' ring cameras? So there's obviously something, maybe it's the Range Rover is the connection. Because they did take that in, and then it could go back to the owner of the Range Rover being the people that they have detained. CNN is saying that they've not been arrested, but again, at this point, who knows what's going to happen? I'm not going to believe that they have anybody, a serious suspect, unless they're standing in a courtroom on Monday morning in front of a judge being arraigned. So could be a nothing burger. We're just going to have to wait and see. At least they have a lead in this. And, I have to wonder what the Guthries are doing, sitting, and it seems like, and I want to say, this is Zosha. She's the crime-fighting, crime-crunchy kitty. And so she helps me fight crimes. And so she wanted to say hello. So there goes Zosha. Bye, Zosha. But no, I think about the siblings, the Guthrie siblings, and, how long are they able to stay? Annie hasn't been able to go back to her house. It has to be difficult. They're sequestered in a gated community for their privacy. This has to be so hard. I have some people in chat right now that are fun. Okay. So, oh my gosh. Naples Realtor Pilot. I wonder I think that's my new sponsor is Naples Realtor Pilot. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and jump off, but I have to say thank you so much, Crunchies, for joining me this Saturday afternoon. There's still a lot going on. I may go live again tonight if there are any updates. Please remember to subscribe and like. It is free. I am going to be at CrimeCon over Memorial Day weekend in Las Vegas. I will be back with more live content very, very soon. But until then, just take care, Crime Crunchies, and keep crunching to the end. All right, crunch, crunch, crunch. Have a great day, everybody.